Hi there, Jamie Keat here today at Teachers Tech. Hope you're having a great day today. Today I want to show you how to use Microsoft Outlook. So this is a beginner's level Microsoft Outlook. I'll be looking at the basics of making sure you have your Outlook set up correctly. You know how to send and receive emails and organize. Now this is the beginning series for my Microsoft Outlook for beginners. This is going to be a continuation through the playlist. I'll just add more videos down below in the description in the card below as they come out. Let's get started with Microsoft Outlook for beginners today, level 1. Everything in this video is going to be timestamped, so if you want to jump ahead to a certain part, look down below in the description and just click on the time, and then it will jump ahead to that part. Now I'm going to go ahead and get Microsoft Outlook opened here, and I have it already installed on my computer. And I'm just going to go to my start menu, and I have it in my Office apps here, and you can see Outlook. Now, what I like to do is actually pin it to my taskbar down below. So if you right click on it, you can go to more and then pin to taskbar, and then it's easy access right down there. So I'm going to go ahead, open this up. Right now, currently, I have no emails attached to this, and I'm going to add some to show you how you can add multiple ones too. Now, sometimes when you open this up, it just might prompt you right away to add your email. But if it opens at this stage, what you want to do is go over here to File. And if you notice this here, if you're used to any of the other Microsoft Word products like Word or Excel or PowerPoint, it's set up very much the same. You have your tabs across the top, and then you have a ribbon down in below. So just like Microsoft, all the other products, it works very similar that way. So I'm going to go over to File, and I'm going to go to Account Settings here and click on this. So I'm going to go in here, and you're going to see I have some options here. I have no account set in here, but if I go ahead and hit New, it's going to search for accounts here, and a couple of them will come up for me. I'm going to be using this account for this demo here today. I do want to point out, if you don't have an account, you can go ahead and create an account here too. You can add your Gmail and different accounts too, but this is a Microsoft account for me. I'm going to go ahead and connect it with this one, and you're going to see things load up. It's going to grab my email and add it to Outlook. So now it's added the one email, and you can see it's right up here. It's asking me now, do I want to add another email? So this is where I can add another one. I can have multiple ones going. So if I wanted to add this one right here, I'm going to go hit next, and it's going to pull in that one too. So it's going to connect with a Google account, which I would run through and connect. And I'm just going to hit next, and I have to enter my password and go through that, and then it will go through. Now you can see I have two different accounts that have been successfully added. You can see them here and also over here. I'm going to go ahead and hit done on this one. I'm going to close this out. Now I can actually delete these two. So on any of these, you can see there is a remove option. If it's your default account, you will need to go to your data files and create a place to save the data on it, but I'll save that for a different video tutorial. So I'm going to go ahead and close this. I have two different accounts. You can see right away I have this arrow that will open up things under. So if I click on it, it opens up. I have my inbox that I can click on, and you'll be able to see all the different emails that are in here. I can go to this account, and as it's going to go through, it's going to go and receive these. So if I hit receive all of this, now it's going to go through and pull from my Gmail account different emails into Outlook here. So now if you take a look over the side at this Gmail account, you can actually see it has messages inside here by these numbers. So this Microsoft account has 11 in the inbox. This inbox has 460. It even pulled over the labels I had created inside my Gmail account to match here. So I could be working from Outlook with all of my accounts. Now, if I go ahead and click on the inbox, it will show you all the different emails in this way. Now, I do want to point out, I'm going to go back up to the very top where I kind of mentioned the tabs and the ribbons before when we first started. Now, in this tutorial here, I'm going to be focusing more on this home button here and some send and receive. Now, there's a few other things through here that we'll be doing, but for this, it's about just sending and receiving emails. So I'm going to stay in between these two. I do want to point out down below just some navigation here. We have our email down here. So if I click on this, will bring them up by email. We have a calendar here. So if I click on calendar, it'll bring up my Microsoft, the calendar in here. We have our contacts, and I will show you how to add contacts a little bit later, just as an example when you're sending your email. And we have more here. So if we have task, notes, folders, there's a lot Microsoft Outlook can do for you. And that's why I'm going to have multiple videos for this. But I'm going to go back to my email here, and let's start with just composing an email. Right before I send this email, show you how to send an email, I just want to point out with this ribbon up top, you can change it to a simplified view too. If I go ahead and click this right here, this up arrow, you can see it kind of gives this simplified version of it. Depending on what you like, you can open it up even more. And you can click on this right here, ribbon display options. Do you want it to auto hide, show tabs and commands? So you can set it the way you want. All right, let's go ahead and start with sending a new email. You can see under the home tab, if I look in the ribbon, we have under this group right here, we have new. Now, if I go to new email and just hover over top of it, if I want a shortcut to this, I could just click on my keyboard Control and N at the same time, and it will create the same thing as this right here. So the first thing I want to point out, when you're sending an email, especially if you have multiple accounts set up on your Outlook, you can choose who you want to send it from. So right now it defaulted to that top one right here. But if I drop down, do I want it from my other email? So depending on who's sending it out, you can choose who it's coming from that point. All right, so now notice when this new email opened up, it gave me a new set of tabs and a ribbon inside of this. So if I go to insert, I have all these options in the ribbon, and I have a group inside each of these. So you get to have an idea how powerful Microsoft Outlook is as you go through. It looks a lot like things like Microsoft Word with all the different things you can do to it. And if I go to File, you can even encrypt this item and so on. Now, I'm just focused on the beginners part of this and sending the email and different things you can do. Now, the first thing I want to do is say, who is this to? Now, if I start typing in, I can type in right here. So if I use one of my demo accounts here, if I just go demo@keat.ca, and just like this, I put one, that's going to be the email address I send it to. Notice that there's a semicolon after that. That means I can add another email here. So if I was going to type another demo account of mine and click in here, now I have two different emails. So I could go on and on and on, adding people's email address like this. Now that could take some time just typing it in like that, and that's where having them in your contacts could be good, or having a group. But if I hit 2, you can see that if I had the group, if I had them in my contacts, it would be easy. I could just search from this point to and go and find them. Now, I want to point out about CC here. This, when you CC somebody, it will send the message also to them, but they'll be able to see who you sent it to. So if I CC someone, they're going to get the message, and they're going to see that this right here. So if I was going to CC one of my other addresses, just like this, I could put it in right here. And now at this point, I would see the email plus the people. So you got to be careful with this, because you don't want to send an email to people and show them the list of people you sent it to. You don't want to share everybody's information with their email. So take a look at this under the options. There's BCC. So BCC, if I click in here, if I BCC people instead of CC them, this will hide the group that I sent it to. So know that. So that could be an important thing. Don't just CC people, because they'll be able to see who you sent it to. BCC the people, because then they won't be able to see the list of emails on this. And notice this is turned on now. You can kind of toggle it on and off on it, and that's under the options tab in the show fields ribbon. Now I'm going to go back to message here and continue on. Now let's say if I wanted to attach a file to here, you'll notice under the insert, you get a number of different things that you can put inside this email. I can attach a file. I could go grab it. I could go from this, browse from this PC, browse from my OneDrive right here. So if I go to my PC and I just was going to grab this little video here, 2 megabytes. When I send this email, that will be attached to the email here. If I go across, you'll be able to see all the different things that you can add to your email, from pictures to shapes. And it's just as simple as going, from your computer and uploading just like the attachment. As you go through, you can even do a screenshot. So if you wanted to take a quick screenshot of something on your screen, you can click on it and you kind of pick where it's coming from and then do a screen clipping. We have links that we can add in here. You notice how right from here. So there's lots of different ways that you can go through, play around with the different ones. We even have equation here. Now, I'm just going to go show you a few more options here. Under format text, we can do a lot of different things to the style. So let's say if I add some text now, I'm just going to go ahead. You can see maybe you don't like how small that is. I can format this in a bunch of different ways. I could go up and go up here and start formatting it just by changing the font size and changing the color, bolding it, and so on. Quick access, you could go to, if you double click, a word shows up and you get the format options. If you triple click, you get the whole line that will come up, and you can quickly add those options. Another thing you could do, if you take a look at the styles right here, if you hover or if you click on them, they'll give you kind of this live update. You see as I hover over, depending on what you want, you can see. And there's also a clear style. So maybe I like this one, how the great is in blue. So I'll leave it like this. Now I could just sign off and put my name. Another thing you could do, and I'll get into this in a different video, is if you just want to make sure that there's a signature each time that you send your email, what you can do is if I go to insert, notice that there's a signature here. And now I haven't created a name for this, and I'll leave it to a different email, but just an idea to play with. You can go ahead and create a new signature, which you can put your name, maybe your phone number, email address. That will be put at the bottom each time you send your email. And you can have multiple signatures and have it different for each email address that you have in here. So, but again, I'll cover that more at a different time. But do take a look at the different options. Another option that I like is the dictate. So if I just go down here, I can even just use this to send a message and turn this off. You can see that went right into my email. So you could just dictate on this. We have Immersive Reader that can go through and read this. Now, before I send this, I just want to point out, if I go ahead and try to close this, it says, hey, want to save this, save your changes. And what that means, maybe I'm not done my email yet. I could hit yes, and this will save it as a draft. So if I hit yes on this, I want to point out that I have draft over here, and this is what I was just working on. So if I double click on it, it opens it up. Now, if I'm ready to send it at any time, you can see if I go back here, I can hit send and it will send it out still. So I'm going to hit send. And now it's saying, do you want to have a subject line? Because I didn't give it any subject line. Now send, do I want to send without or with? So what I can do is don't send, go here, and I'll just put hello. And now I'm going to hit send. That message is sent, and you can see it sending at the very bottom. It says sending message 101 connected to Microsoft Exchange. Now I want to point out here, sent items. I can go take a look at the items that I've already sent here. So I can go back and check my messages that I sent to any of them. Another way you can send messages is to reply to messages. So I sent that message out that you just saw, and I replied to it from my demo account. And you can see right here regarding reply here. So if I click on this, notice now by reply, you can click here. So reply goes back to the one person right here. So if I hit reply, you can see that it's going to be sent to this person. I'm going to discard this. If I go reply to all, you can see now everybody's going to be already in there. So it makes a difference what you want. And I can actually even forward a message. So maybe you get a message and you just want to forward to somebody to say, hey, take a look at this message that somebody sent to me. I can go ahead and hit forward. And at this point, I can write in a new email right here and go ahead and hit send. Notice that it's indented. I can pop this out too to get all the different options that I had before. You can close this down. And whenever you see these three little dots here, you always get more options you can see with instant message, and you can reply. But again, I'm not going to go into that. So those are some different ways you can send messages inside Microsoft Outlook. So let's take a look at some of the other options about receiving these emails. Now, there's always multiple ways you can do things inside Microsoft Outlook. And now I showed you just a quick way that I kind of do this to reply. But with many of the things, if I look up in the tabs and then in the ribbon, for example, right here under the Home tab, you look in the ribbon, we have reply, reply all, and forward. So depending on what you get used to. Now, what are some other things to do with received mail? Now, the one thing you could do is delete it. You can delete it in a few different ways. Anything. A lot of times you can right click on anything and you can see all the different options that you get with it, and deletes right at the bottom. We have the garbage can. When I hover over it, I can go ahead and delete it here, or I can hit delete here when it's selected, and it's gone out of my inbox. So where did it go? It went over to deleted items right here. So you can see right through here is it. So if I could actually bring this back in, I could just drag it into my inbox and click on it, and you can see that this is back again. So you can move things around in different folders by dragging. The other thing I wanted to point out is with the flag here. So if something important comes in, you can flag it really quickly like this. And if I right click on this, I even get some options, for when I want to pick the flag for, or even add a reminder, mark it as complete. So if you get those important emails, you might want to do that with it, and you can clear the flag also. Now, right here is another important thing, depending on how you want to receive your email. You can receive it by a number of different ways. Do you want it to be from the date? And that's usually what I do, because I want to see the newest ones, but maybe it's from, or maybe it's to, or category. So if I go from, you can see it quickly changed it around that way into more alphabetical, but you can change this depending on which way you want to receive it. And the other thing that you can do, and I'm just going to point out under view, again, multiple ways to do this. I can do it through flag status. I could go from all these different ways. Again, I can switch from right here, go back to date. Here's my message preview. How many lines do I want to see in my email? Do I want to see 1 line, 2 lines, 3 lines, so I can see more? Or are you just good with the 1 line on it? So you can set these up the way you want, and set the filter the way you want to see your emails. Before I just switch over to the folders and talk about that for a moment, I just want to point out you can change the whole view of your Outlook too. So if you look over here, I can change the, if I click on these here, so if I go minimized, you can see how it changed, where I can quickly move back and forth from my different tabs to my calendar, to my task in here. I could turn it off. I could go back to normal. If I wanted the reading pane at the bottom, you can see how quickly you can change it around to get things the way you want. So take a look at the folder, at the different view options that you can get to make you work more efficiently inside Outlook. Now, I did want to show you how to add a contact too, as I mentioned before. So if I go down to my contacts here, if I click on the contacts, you can see, again, take a look at the top, new contact, new group, new contact group. Depending on what you want to create, I'm just going to mention the contact. You just go new contact and you fill out the information in here, and then they will be in your contact list. You can see once everything's done, you just save and close, put their name, their email address in different places, and you can see all the different options with the ribbon in the tabs that you have inside here. Wanted to give you a quick tip if you like your emails being read to you. So what you can do is, now I have this demo email open here. Take a look over on here. We have read aloud. If I click on it, and I'm going to click in here, and I'm just going to go ahead and...
I'm good. How about you?
So I can play it again, or have it pause it and work from there. So you can actually have your emails read to you from here. So I just thought that was a nice option to have inside Microsoft Outlook. Okay, so what do you do if you want new folders? So you can see there was different folders created for me when I brought in my Gmail for my labels that I created in my Gmail account. You can create new folders very easy to help organize your email. Now I have two different emails set up here. If I right click, and I tend to right click on a lot. Remember I said there's multiple ways to do this. I can go new folder here. So if I click new folder, and this is going to be under that email. So if I'll just call this my demo folder here for today's purpose, and I click off of it, you can see now I have this demo folder. Nothing in there, but I can put different emails in there if I want for any of this. I can drag this over. So now it's out of my inbox and into my demo. And remember, I can drag things around. Then I can sort from right inside any of these folders. So just make sure you create the folder on the appropriate email that you want to help organize your email with. Now, another thing I just want to point out, you can have a list of favorites to the top. So if I take demo, I'm just going to drag it up to here. And you can see now demo is in my favorites. So it gives that quick access to it where I can just look at the top, because sometimes you can have a lot of different folders inside your Outlook over time, and you can move them up to favorites like that to just get more efficient with all the emails you get. Other ways to move your emails into folders, you can simply right click on any of these and you're going to get a lot of different options that I showed you even before. But you can see we do have move here where I can move it into a certain folder or go other folder. And then take a look up top inside the ribbon, we have move also here. So lastly, just talking about folders, just like any of the other things I showed you, there's many ways to work with them. If I go looking at the tabs here and click on the folder tab, you can see inside the ribbon all the different options you get, from sorting your folders and to even creating them and searching for folders inside here. So this is kind of the end of this tutorial here today, level 1 Microsoft Outlook. There's so much that this program can do to fit it all into one. I would make a very long video. I'd like to know what you're looking to learn inside Microsoft Outlook. Let me know in the comments down below, so when I create level 2, maybe I can start answering some of those questions. Thanks for watching this time on Teacher's Tech. I'll see you next time with more tech tips and tutorials.